Come on inside. It's time for the FSU Weather Show. Gloomy outside, but come back to your couch. We've got a great show for you today. I'm meteorologist Jonathan Bellis here with Zach, and he's going to brighten things up.
Hey guys, it was quite a rainy and gloomy day. A lot of you guys waking up around 8 a.m. like myself and fellow students here. We had some pretty strong thunder this morning, kind of abnormal. It made my house shake almost. I was worried about the integrity of my building.
Yeah, I woke up about 7:30 this morning, the thunder, about 2 hours ahead of my alarm, unfortunately, but it was enough to wake me up. We had about almost 3 inches here in Tallahassee.
And we had a flash flood watch in effect for most of the area, of which, of course, it is now canceled, because if you're looking outside your windows right now, well, we aren't having that heavy rain. We're having a lot more of that lighter stuff, and that'll persist throughout the night.
Yeah, luckily for us, all of the severe weather stayed off the coast. A little worried about Franklin County this morning, but that stayed off the coast.
It did. They had a lot more of those stronger storms that we were experiencing at times, but Franklin County did seem to make it through the worst of it, and thankfully no severe stuff today.
Yeah, just some light rain now. All that thunderstorm activity is pushing off towards the south. Taylor County's got a little bit of some stronger storms to work with. That's all heading south now.
And that'll be coming up in our show as well. In fact, Tom is at the wall right now with an overview. Tom, can you tell us more of what's going on right now?
Hey, thanks guys. I didn't need an alarm clock either this morning, but right now we're taking a look at how these storms are just pushing out of the Tallahassee region, bringing that heavy cloud cover with it. We're going to see maybe a few more showers as we go through the night, weaning off into the morning. And we're looking right now, 68 degrees in Tallahassee, 66 Monticello. Pretty consistent temperatures throughout the region. We're going to look at a beautiful night here, not getting too much cooler. We'll give you some low temperatures in a minute, but we're going to see that rain dwindle as we come into tomorrow. We're going to see that rain stop by morning time, and we're going to see those cool conditions persist throughout the afternoon as those clouds clear. And as after those clouds clear, Sunday through the rest of the week, we're going to see some beautiful clear skies for you with seasonable temperatures. Right now for tonight, we're going to look at 49 degrees, 80% chance of rain, with a wind coming out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour. It's going to give us a chance for some gusts. But let's take a look at some space action with the guys at the desk.
Hey, thanks, Tom. And yes, we are talking some space stuff, some weird space stuff. An asteroid about to approach Earth starting on Monday.
Yeah, fortunately the weather is going to be good for this viewing. It's going to be the closest it's going to be for the next 200 years.
Now, this asteroid does have quite a long name. It's asteroid 2004B L86. I had to look because it's just so long. But this asteroid, just as it has a long name, it is still going to be a little ways from Earth, 745,000 miles from Earth, but still pretty close that you can see it with binoculars or even a telescope.
Yeah, it'll be close enough that you can see it with those binoculars. You won't have any clouds to have to look through there.
No, we're forecasting clear skies. In fact, I'll be talking about that in just a second at the wall, but it is going to be a once-in-a-lifetime event, as John was saying. In fact, we could take it to the wall right now if I want to show you some radar. So you can see all those clear skies. Well, they aren't actually there right now. You can see past radar and satellite imagery showing quite a lot of cloud cover right now, all that heavy rainfall earlier, including some of those reds moving through. In fact, Franklin County getting quite a lot of that as it pushed through this morning. Now, that was our past satellite and radar, ending on our current loop where it was showing cloudy skies. And here's a temperature forecast, actually a pretty neat forecast, in fact, because you can kind of see these dips in temperatures. While we are staying rather uniform in the 60s, these dips actually occur, if you look at the timestamps, when the rain was happening. In fact, this huge climb that we made up to 68 degrees just about an hour ago, well, that's because the rain stopped. So when the rain stopped, we ended up seeing some warmer conditions. So that's why we did actually top out at 68 degrees about an hour ago. Now currently we are sitting again at 68 with that dew point still pretty muggy, 65 degrees with a 90% chance of humidity. Winds still south at 7. We are going to begin to see those to change. Dew points, excuse me, rather uniform across the board again, mid-60s to upper 60s. Again, a little muggier at the coast, 66 in Perry, 67 in Wilma, 64 at Apalachicola. a little wider satellite and radar view here at the southeast, and you can see just how big this storm is. This was what was bringing quite a lot of the snowfall in Texas yesterday, as well as Oklahoma. A lot of that's starting to push off into the peninsula now. Tampa, you'll be getting some of those storms in about the next hour and a half to 2 hours as they begin to push on. Again, nothing too severe across the region there. Tonight, we are looking at some rainfall still across our region. We are going to continue to watch that as it moves across the peninsula. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., we are beginning to forecast some mostly cloudy skies. But don't worry, because by the afternoon, they will be changing to partly cloudy skies. And as the sun's setting, even a clear sky, seeing that moon out there. But those chillier conditions are going to begin to persist because that cold front has officially pushed through. So we are going to begin to see a little below average temperatures for tomorrow before we climb back up to average. 49 is our low, 80% chance of rain. Rain's going to continue, ending by daybreak. As again, a south wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour. That wind will change starting tomorrow. Again, cooler conditions at 55, and there's that change in the wind, west-northwest at 10 to 15. It will clear by midday and into the evening. Again, those showers will go down to 40% chance. Mainly to our east, and Tallahassee should be all done with the rain by 6 a.m. 7-day forecast, we're looking at seasonal temperatures after we get through Saturday. 60s across the board, 30s early on Sunday morning, very close to that freezing mark, and then returning back to seasonal by start of the week. Let's send it off to Ulises now as he takes us around the southeast. Again, pretty rainy.
Oh yes, thanks Zach. It's actually starting to be an interesting weather pattern for today. You notice temperatures right now at this hour, 60s throughout Tallahassee and Savannah. But behind that, with that cold, the cold front has already occurred. 40s already dipping as far south as New Orleans. But the main story is the cloud cover. This system overall, the last 24 hours has brought a lot of cloud cover. The good news is changes are going to occur as we go into our Saturday. The dew point where that warm front had occurred over the Sunshine State earlier today is now into South Carolina and Georgia. Very sticky out there, very uncomfortable. On the backside of that cold front, however, those dew points dipping very dry into the 20s and even 30s, extending all the way down into Texas and even the Mexican border. The water vapor, a lot of green over the eastern seaboard. That will continue to push northward as that low pressure begins to push further up to the northeastern United States. That drier air will eventually usher in for the second half of the weekend. The radar, a lot of that storminess that was over Tallahassee has begun to push towards the east. A little bit of snow even towards Texas. But you notice a lot of that showers starting to push towards the northeast. Let's break it down in Texas. Some of those showers just to the northeast of San Antonio starting to fall apart as they go into Louisiana. Further east, the rain continues, kind of a clean drive all the way down through New Orleans and Pensacola. The showers begin to occur just to the east of Tallahassee. There's actually a flood watch as you go further north into North Carolina in effect till tomorrow morning. And as we go towards the north, towards the upper south into the Ohio Valley, winter weather advisories over Kentucky and even some mixed precipitation over Virginia and West Virginia. And those conditions will actually continue as we go into the early morning hours. A broader view of the southeast, very clean over the state of Alabama. Winter weather advisories through Virginia and Tennessee and Kentucky, spreading out through tomorrow morning. This will actually be the first round of that winter weather as we go into the next 24 to 48 hours. Winter temperatures tonight, 70s over southern Florida, very chilly over Arkansas, 29 degrees. But all this cool air will eventually usher into Tallahassee tomorrow. By tomorrow, temperatures overall very uniform for majority of the south, 50s all around. The clouds will begin to fade out from west to east. 58 in Wilmington, and a very toasty 78 degrees. And now we're going to send it over to Jonathan and Zach to talk about the western United States.
Ulises was talking about all that cool air in the central plains, but out west is where you want to be if you want to be in the warm air.
We're beginning to see a pattern change with our jet stream, which is a very powerful wind stream up in the atmosphere, sitting around 20 to 30,000 feet above us. And when that changes, that does affect the temperatures. And out west is going to begin to see some record warmth, while the east and Midwest could be ending January on quite a cold note.
Yeah, the jet stream is going to go well to the north. That's going to allow that heat come in from the tropics, come right up the Rockies in Mexico, and come right into the Rockies of the western United States as well.
And unfortunately, when the string goes up in one section, it's got to come down in the other, and that is going to be for us. So all that Arctic cold air that's just been rebuilding itself over the past few weeks is going to begin to filter back on into the Midwest and East Coast. In fact, so much Arctic air that this could be one of the coldest outbreaks that we've seen in 2015 so far, definitely colder than the New Year's Day outbreak.
Yeah, for us here in Florida, we're going to be a little bit insulated. We're only going to make it down to about 34 degrees as we head into Sunday morning.
And by the end of January and February, places up north could even be looking at possibly 2 types of snowfall events. But we're going to send it out to the wall now with a national look with Tom. Tom can tell us more.
All right, let's take a look at the big picture for now. We got rain in the southeast, some winter precipitation in the Great Lakes region, some more precipitation in Seattle. So we're going to take a look here. We have lots of moisture in the southeast. We talked a lot about that right now. There's a little bit of moisture in the Great Lakes, and again, plenty of moisture coming off of that Pacific Ocean for you into Seattle. And it's going to be a good time here looking at some more rain. The band's pushing off of Tallahassee and into the Tampa region there within the next hour or so. We're going to see those rains pick up down to the south. And we're looking at Michigan, Wisconsin, northern Michigan here. We see that band of snow coming through there. We're going to see that move towards New England through the night and into tomorrow. We have some warnings associated with that. Now we're going to take a look at Wyoming here, just south of Yellowstone National Park. Some snow in the top of the mountains there. We maybe see some snowy peaks if you live out there. That'll be a nice view. And we're going to take a look over in Seattle, talking about all that wind coming off of the Pacific Ocean, giving plenty of moisture to feed into those mountains. And when that air rides up those mountains, it creates rain. That's why Seattle lives up to the reputation. It's rainy all the time. I used to have some family lived out there. It was not too fun to visit them sometimes. So now we're going to take a look here. Right now we're seeing pretty clear in New York State and in Pennsylvania. We're going to take a look how these winter warnings here for winter weather warnings and watches for tomorrow ending at about 2 p.m. So we're going to have to watch out as we come into tomorrow. And as well, down in California, right around LA, we got some high wind advisories there. So they're going to have to watch out. If they have any fires, it's going to be hard to keep them controlled in the windy weather for the next few days. Take a big picture here. Warnings in the northeast and in the southwest for us. And for some current conditions, 68 in Tallahassee, that's a high temperature for us today. 34 in Boston. Lots of the country's pretty cool right now with a warm sector in the Great Plains. For the temperature changes, though, it's pretty interesting enough that we have cooling temperatures in the southeast and some warming temperatures in the majority of the Mountain West and the Great Plains cities for us there. Plus 8 degrees, Kansas City, plus 8 in Dallas for you there. So we're going to see that trend continue. Airport delays, nothing. We might see some more in the northeast for tomorrow. Tonight, most of the country freezing. And for tomorrow, some nice, regular, moderate temperatures for us. And we're going to pass it off to Ian here with another look at Tallahassee.
Thanks. Yeah, we definitely saw a rainy day today as we had a bit of a system move on through, which flooded our campus. You can see here a wonderful picture taken here by Shane Pendleton, our very own here. Shows all of that flooding. We had localized flooding in certain areas. Once that rain comes down, we had over 2 inches of rain here in Tallahassee. That caused us to see conditions like this. You can see a student here wearing the weather boots, those boots to prevent herself from getting a little wet, but that's what we had to deal with today. Today's almanac show our high was at 68 degrees. We topped that out late in the afternoon after that rain ended with a low at 64. So not a huge disparity between the high and low today, but we definitely saw a good bit of rain and kept our temperatures rather mild throughout the day. The rainfall, as I said, was about over 2 inches in Tallahassee. You see 2.77 inches, the official marker. We had 2.4 in Perry, over 4.61 inches in St. Mark's. They saw a good bit of rain there, and down 3.11 inches down in Apalachicola. So lots of rain seen throughout the day with those with the conditions that we had seen from the cold front. Local temperatures showed rather mild right now, 68 in Tallahassee, you got 66 in St. Mark's, 64 down in Carabel, and this will continue to drop as we go on into the night with those winds starting to shift rather out of the west-northwest. Right now you can see those winds are from the south, so that's giving us those warmer winds from the Gulf. But that will soon change as we are going to be moving past that warm front and behind into that cold front, shifting those winds. So all those southerly winds will start to shift, and you'll notice it, trust me. We'll show the futurecast here, shows the directions of the wind. As we move on Friday night, you can see those winds are definitely going to shift out from the west, and they're going to become pushing, bringing us that cooler air that you're going to be noticing as you go on into the night. So Saturday morning is going to start cooler, and we're going to continue that trend as the day goes on. Those winds moving on into the night will start to shift a little bit more, and you're going to notice those cold temperatures for sure. As we've been dealing with those mild temperatures as of late, those are going to drop once again. Boating forecast is not so great for tomorrow. Small craft advisory has been put up with protected waters, a bit rough. So not the best day to go out on the waters. You can see 35 knot winds with the gusts as high as that with 20 knot northwest winds. So really not ideal for you to go out in a boat or beach weather for that. Tonight's forecast, rain is going to be continuing with about an 80% chance. You're going to be noticing a few bands coming out throughout the night that can't be ruled out. And the forecast shows 49 degrees for Tallahassee, 51 St. Mark's. Those temperatures are definitely cooling as we go on into night. Tomorrow's forecast shows 40% early on in the day is the best chance for rain. A little bit cooler as we go on. Those winds out of the west-northwest. You can see temperatures in the 57, 55 in Thomasville. So the 7-day forecast, however, looks pretty great as we look out past this cold front. You can see bright, sunny, seasonable conditions in the 60s, and that's going to be great for your week ahead. But we're going to move on into the desk where I'm going to talk to Ulises about some good winter weather going on up in the northeast. They've had to deal with a good bit of snow, something we don't have to really deal with here, do we?
No, there's no snow expected for all of us here, so.
That's what I definitely like to see. Now, there's going to be two systems that are moving through the northeast. Is that correct?
Correct. The first one is actually the one that's actually affecting us right now. It's actually going to go up through the eastern seaboard, and it's actually going to be more of a wintry mix kind of factor. The real snow will actually be closer to New England.
Yes, and it's crazy because with this system itself, there's going to be within a 30-mile distance, areas could be seeing rain and then could be seeing snow. So that system with those temperature differences with that cold front moving on through is definitely going to be apparent for them.
Yes, I-95 is actually going to be the biggest divider line between the rain and the snow. But we're going to talk more about that as we begin to hand it over to Jonathan for Around Florida.
Nothing like that here. We're talking warm temperatures across the entire southeast. 81 degrees in Fort Myers, 79 degrees in Miami, 68 in Tallahassee, and this is actually the warmest spot we've had pretty much all day. Just a little bit of sunshine starting to filter through in our western areas before the sun started to go down this afternoon and into this evening. Some water vapor here. This is a lot of moisture in the upper levels of the atmosphere starting to finally start to push down towards the south, but plentiful rainfall across the Nature Coast up into the Space Coast. And look down south. It's not quite as wet, but they're going to get there by late tomorrow. Clearing out off towards the north and west. As we head west on I-10, you can start to see the clouds starting to break up, and as we're getting the radar back in motion here, this rain mass is starting to head off towards the east. We'd actually had a little bit of flooding over in Panama City this morning. The only problem spot in the state right now is over in St. Augustine and near Spuds, over on the Space Coast rather. Some severe thunderstorms there, starting to move out into the Atlantic though. No problems there. This whole thing is going to head off towards the south, impacting Tampa Bay by right around midnight. We're going to get this south of I-4 during the overnight hours and into South Florida, where it should start to weaken as we head down towards the south. So places closer to Miami could only see a quarter inch, maybe in half an inch of rainfall as we head down towards the south. Nothing like what we had here. But look at all this wind coming in from the south. This is all feeding that rain mass. Winds here at West Palm Beach sitting at 16 miles an hour, but look off towards the north and west, 12 miles an hour out of the northwest. And that's the important part in Pensacola. That means the front has passed through there for the western parts of the Panhandle. This is all going to head off towards the east. The main impact as we head into this weekend is going to be a little bit of rain tomorrow morning, kind of what we're seeing here now with some scattered showers. Actually, rainfall starting to pick up in intensity near Defuniak Springs up towards Mariana. And as we head off towards the east, a little bit of a break from Tallahassee over towards Perry and down towards the south. And if we head off towards the east, we're looking like this, mostly clear, just a couple of showers isolated away from the rest of this over Orange County, and these are all heading off towards the north and east away from this system. Look at this rain mass This is all coming in towards the Nature Coast, dropping 1 to 2 inches of rainfall for the Nature Coast, again up towards St. Augustine with that trouble spot there in St. Augustine. Look at the current conditions, 73 degrees here in Tampa right now. We're going to start to plummet during the overnight hours down into the 50s during the overnight hours, and then heading down towards closer to freezing by Sunday morning. Look at this. I think this is going to be a little bit overdoing the cold air right now, but 29 degrees in Tallahassee is what our model is forecasting. Heading probably closer to freezing, 33, 34 here in Tallahassee. Warming up tomorrow in the upper 60s and lower 60s and upper 50s as we head into on the day on Sunday. Look at that, 4 o'clock, heading near 60 here in Tallahassee. But for now, we're going to head it over to Casey now with a winter weather outlook.
Thanks so much, Jonathan. Let's get right into this. And as we do, we see the weather situation across our nation does portray a lot of snow, and these temperatures really match up with that. 34 degrees in Boston, 29 in Detroit, 37 up toward Minneapolis, very cool conditions. And again, out toward the west, we see temperatures very cool as well. We see 44 degrees right now in Denver and 42 in Billings. Now, those relative humidity values we see that's very humid across the southeast, really representing all that moisture that we've been tracking, the stickiness in the air as well. 90% humidity in Tallahassee, 92% in Atlanta, and 82% in Memphis. Now, taking a look at our nation, we see the complex of storms that made its way through our area pretty much has moved to the east. Of course, Jonathan was telling you about the severe thunderstorm warning around St. Augustine that's in effect, but we also have some wintry weather we're tracking into toward Kentucky and into toward the north as well, which I'll dive into now. We see in toward Louisville and Bowling Green, we've seen some rain turn into snow over the last few hours. They're in toward western Kentucky, getting into toward Lexington as well. The University of Kentucky and the University of Louisville both getting impacted by that. Now going further to the north, we do see Green Bay. They're starting to get into snow activity as well down toward Madison. We're tracking that very closely, and toward those areas northeast, you can see just on over the Canada border right now, just to the northwest of Watertown, New York. We're tracking some snow falling toward those areas that we're watching. Now, this watches and warnings graphic really tells us a sign of things to come. There's a winter storm warning in this pink color impacting areas around Boston, also down into central Pennsylvania as well. We're watching that for the potential of a winter storm over the next day or so. Some areas around New York and Boston could get upwards of 3 to 5 inches of snow. Very significant totals for them. We'll watch that for those areas closely, but kind of right into the view out, we'll take actually a closer look here at the forecast at hand. Here in our area, again, we're tracking those storms. They're moving toward Tampa Bay as well. They're going to clear out and bring us nicer weather conditions, though, as we get in toward your Saturday. But we're watching the winter storm situation evolve up toward the north, the central part of the country near Detroit. We're going to be seeing some snow in toward those areas. That'll go down toward Washington, D.C. as well. Tomorrow here, or tonight, first 49 degrees, but very cool temperatures. Much of the country at or below freezing, like Kansas City at 32 degrees. And tomorrow, 34 in Detroit. Snow in toward Washington, D.C. at 44. But right now, let's take it back to the desk with Ian and Ulises.
Thanks, Casey. We're going to talk a little bit more about tornadoes right now in this second segment.
Yeah, we are looking back a couple years in 2012. In Alabama, they had a severe weather outbreak, rather a tornado outbreak, that brought an EF3 tornado around Birmingham, Alabama.
Yes, Center Point, Alabama. Actually, there was 75 injuries and supposedly also 1 person dead.
Yeah, this was definitely an outbreak for them. They saw up to, I believe, 10 tornadoes around there that day. Just a cold front moving on through, such that we had today, though not quite as severe, fortunately for people living in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, the severe threat has been pretty much very minimal. I mean, we did have some gusty winds this morning, but good thing, thank goodness, no severe weather whatsoever.
A good bit of lightning, too. We heard that this morning, but we're going to send it back to the wall with Shane with more.
Thanks, guys. The few rumbles of thunder we had this morning were not indicative of any severe weather, we're all very happy to say. And the rainfall has, for the most part, pushed on out of our region. Let's look at the radar right now. You can see We had all those vibrant yellows and oranges earlier today, but now we've just got spotty green light rain showers across the region right now, so the system is finally getting over with. It's currently 68 degrees in the capital right now under overcast skies with quite a lot of humidity up at 90% right now, so it's very sticky, starting to make some of our hair stand up at weird angles. But let's look at what we've got in terms of relative humidity across the whole country or state right now. 100% in Jacksonville and Pensacola. The system is starting to rain itself out and the moisture is really sticking around right now. It's not often we see Jacksonville be considerably more moist than Miami is, but that is indeed the case right now as all that moisture in the north of Florida is continuing to drench us. And let's take a look at where that moisture is going to go right now. We've got a look at what we project the rain to do over the next few hours. It's going to scoot on out of Tallahassee finally, and it's going to hover over Orlando and Fort Myers in the early hours of the morning tomorrow, bringing some rain to South Florida. But North Florida here in Tallahassee, once the clouds break by mid-afternoon tomorrow, the sunshine is here to stay. And I am personally delighted to bring you that forecast for the region. Now let's take a look at what we've got in terms of boating. The rain is over with, but the winds are really going to be the factor tomorrow. The small craft advisory was not issued for no reason. Check out these winds. Sustained winds out of the northwest at 20 knots. That's very impressive, with gusts as high as 35 knots and the waves stirred up to 6 to 8 feet. This is the kind of conditions that only the most experienced of boaters should go out in. So if you're interested in going out to see the ocean, just stay on the beach. That'll be much safer for you. Tonight in Tallahassee, we're going to get down to 49 degrees, and the rain will continue on and off spotty showers, and I can promise that will be over by daybreak. And then those clouds get on out of here for a gorgeous day tomorrow. Let's break down the day for you. Check out the temperature. This is interesting. It's going to hover around 53 degrees for the majority of the day tomorrow. That's going to be cool. And the clouds will finally break by about lunchtime, leaving us with clear skies for sunset tomorrow. And then after that, we've got 7 days of sunshine ahead for you. The last of the rain will get out of here by daybreak tomorrow, breaking for sunny skies and a high of 55 degrees. Warming up again on Sunday to 62 degrees after we have a very chilly start at 34 degrees, just about freezing. And then after that, it's average conditions here to stay under gorgeous sunny skies with highs in the mid-60s and lows in the upper 30s. What do you think about that at the desk? Beautiful weather, right?
Oh, beautiful weather, absolutely. And you look great, Shane, by the way. I love the hair. But we've got great news. It's Friday at night, and we've got great stuff planned for you down at the Union.
Oh yes, a lot of great stuff at the Union. There's actually the K-pop at the club down under.
Yeah, K-pop dance party, so you guys can get super kawaii. And in addition, there's a vintage game arcade that's out at the Union Green, at Lanford Green. Wrong one. But there will be a lecture by the Marvel Comics creative director, by Bill Roseman in the Union Ballroom. So a lot planned for you tonight. Unfortunately, it's going to be a bit cloudy and starting to cool off, but that won't hold you off from looking forward to a great night and a great weekend ahead.
Yeah, I mean, take advantage of it. You know, good stuff on campus tonight. But the good news is those conditions are going to be looking very marvelous as we go into the next 7 days.
Yeah, all I'm seeing is all that sunshine that Shane had talked about. So look forward to that for the upcoming week. And hey, if you want to keep track of us, like us on Facebook on facebook.com/FSU Weather.
Also on Twitter and live stream.
And yeah, watch us on live stream whenever you'd like to keep up with us. And have a great weekend.
Oh yes, and my name is Ulises Garcia, and have a great weekend as well.
We enjoyed ourselves here this week. We got through all the rain, and we're looking forward to what's upcoming for us, the great weather. But have a great weekend, guys.
And cooler times.